Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our school board meeting for February the 2nd. Tonight we will be having an electronic public meeting notice here. Board members may participate electronically in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare. Public access to the meeting remains available in person. Public can also access the meeting in live time through our cable access at RCTV. So because we have a few board members participating remotely, in order to quarantine, we have a few procedural matters we need to address to conduct this meeting electronically. Ms. Hopkins, will you call the roll?
Mr. Estes?
Here.
Ms. Johnson? Here. Ms. Bratton?
Here.
Ms. Sharp?
Here.
Ms. Moore?
Here.
Ms. Maxwell?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite a motion to allow some board members to participate electronically rather than physically to protect health, safety, and welfare in light of the COVID-19 outbreak, pursuant to the Governor Lee's Executive Order number 71, which extends the provisions of Executive Order number 65. This meeting remains open to the public and shall also be open and accessible to the public and shall also be open and accessible to the public by real-time live video or audio and video access. Okay, the recommended motion.
Make a motion.
Ms. Maxwell? Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. We need to do roll call.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. So because we are meeting electronically, all votes must be taken by roll call vote. Now, number 2 on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight be led by Mr. Jim Estes.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one
nation,
under
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. All right, before we get into approval of the agenda, the resolution that is on the agenda tonight, we want to pull that and discuss that at our next meeting. So we won't be discussing the resolution tonight. Motion to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? Mr. Estes? Do I have a second? Ms. Johnson? We need to do a roll call.
Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Okay, approval of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Young.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, I have Ms. Maxwell here. Now can we do a roll call?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Estes,
Yes.
Ms. Sharp,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Number 6 is visitors. Is there any visitors tonight? No visitors? All right, number 7.
All right, number 7 is the recognition of the 2020 school year, Year of Excellence in Architectural Design, presented to the Rutherford County Rutherford County Board of Education, in recognition of the Rocky Fork Elementary School by Binkley Garcia, an architect.
All right, Mr. Lee, would you like to introduce our...
Yes, sir. For the information of the new members tonight, Joseph Binkley, one of the partners with Binkley Garcia, who we've been working with for a number of years, is here tonight. He's going to tell us a little bit about how the award came about and why we received it. Joseph?
Good evening to the board and Mr. Spurlock. It's good to see all of you, and I know some of you, and some of you I've not met yet, but I look forward to doing so. And I'm excited to share this news about the award. I'd first like to just express our appreciation and gratitude to the board for entrusting us to the work that you have given us through the years, to the architecture that we have been privileged to be a part of. And it is like they say, it does take a village to put these buildings together in a way that are meaningful to the students and teachers and everyone in the Rutherford County community. And we appreciate all of you and always appreciate Trey and his team for what they do. And so when that comes together in the right way and is recognized by awards such as this, it's really a meaningful thing. But we congratulate you, the board, on putting together a good plan all across the system. The Tennessee School Board Association gives awards each year. This year was a little different, as everything has been, and everything was done virtually. Ordinarily at the convention, the awards are given out to the school board for these. Rocky Fork Elementary received the School of the Year award in the elementary school category. This is the top achievement award given by the Tennessee School Board Association for excellence in design. And as I mentioned earlier, we only take partial credit for that because it is such a collaborative effort and so much goes into it. But they have a panel of judges that have criteria based on a number of things for their actual building, and the design, exterior design and interior design, layout, functionality, and a number of categories that they judge on that. So we were honored to be a part of that, and congratulate you on that award for 2020 for Rocky Fork Elementary. And thank you for allowing me to speak for a moment. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 9.
All right, number 9 is our signing bonus incentives for hard to staff subject areas. You'll find on tab 2. These would include math and science, also some of our BCABA certifications, certified behavior analysts. And I know we've been doing this for how long now, Dr. Anthony?
5 years now.
In those
It's our
5
fifth year.
years, what kind of retention rate have we had with these employees?
Right, 100% retention with the BCBA, 90% with ESL, 89% with ESL, 90% with world language, with science at 88, and math ranging anywhere from 76 to 78.
This is a commitment on the board to make sure that we are finding teachers, and we do appreciate that. I know our principals are very thankful for this because it does allow us to attract, and we know that where the number of teachers that are coming out of our colleges are getting smaller and smaller, and we're even working on that because we have an EPP, Grow Your Own, and we're expanding that. But this does help us, and I know that every one of our principals would thank you for this. So recommend motion to approve the signing bonus incentives for the hard staff subject areas for the 2021-2022 school year as presented.
All right, do we have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Maxwell? All right, call roll, Ms. Hopkins.
Ms. Maxwell,
Yes.
Ms. Sharp,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Bratton,
Yes.
Mr. Estes,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. All right, number 10, motion passes.
All right, number 10, Dr. Sullivan, if you want to go over this charter school information only.
I would love to. For our charter school, just to give you a little bit more information, the state law actually had a change in it to where our policy needs to be updated, and we will bring that at our next scheduled meeting. The state has not updated it on their website yet, but all applications had to be due as of February 1st. We have received our application yesterday, all 5 binders, all in their glory. And now what are basically our 90-day time frame started yesterday to be able to review through our review committee and then make a recommendation to you as a school board. Just, Mr. Sprout, do you want me to go over the members of the review team, or do you want to take that?
Yeah, we do have to come up with a review team requirement from here, the central office, and I'm recommending the following. Of course, Dr. Sullivan, Dr. Anthony, Mr. Beaudry, Mark Gullion, Kate Kazaboski, Dr. Kerry Holman at Laverne Middle School, and Dr. Paige George at Cedar Grove Elementary School.
Any other information?
No, there's no motion needed at the March 2nd meeting. That will be when we officially make the recommendation on the board will of the review team, and then we already have the date set out so that we can hit our deadline to get it to you by the April 22nd meeting.
Number 11.
Our number 11 are the 2021-2022 special courses requests found on tab 3. The instruction department is requesting permission to make an application to offer credit for special courses under the following guidelines. Rule 0520-1-3-.05-2A. Local school systems may offer special courses not listed in 0520-1-3-.06 on an experimental basis. The Commissioner of Education must approve each course in advance of each year. Rutherford County High Schools are requesting approval for the following special course requests: Virtual Reality 1 in Career and Technical Education, Lifeguard and Emergency Response, History of Women in America, and Organic Chemistry. Motion to approve the 2021-2022 special course requests for Rutherford County High Schools as presented.
Any questions, any discussion? All right, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I didn't hear who that was.
Ms. Bratton.
Ms. Bratton, thank you.
Bratton.
All right, call the roll, Ms. Hopkins.
Mr. Estes,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Bratton,
Yes.
Ms. Sharp,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. Motion passes. Number 12.
All right, number 12 is ESL Extended Contracts found on tab 4. The ESL department will be developing curriculum units as well as mid-year benchmark during the month of June of 2021. 16 ESL teachers will be offered extended contracts for their work on these projects. The extended contracts will be funded completely by Title III funds. The approximate total cost of the 2-day unit planning is $4,800, $150 per day per teacher. The approximate total cost for the creation of the benchmark is $6,000, which is $150 per day per teacher. All work will be conducted at the ESL Center and will be supervised by the ESL coordinator. Motion to approve the Title III funded extended contracts for curriculum and development for the ESL program as presented.
Any questions, any discussion? All right. Need a motion.
Move to approve, Mr. Young. This is Tammy.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sharp. Do I have a second?
Second.
Maxwell? All in favor? Well, no, gotta do a roll call. I knew that'd get me.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Motion passes. Number 13.
All right, this is our building program budget amendment found on Fund 189. I think there's been one change since you've shown it last. Is that right, Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir.
You want to kind of go over that and talk a little bit about what our thought process was in moving that one up?
Yes, sir. We have before you, and we emailed earlier today to the members that are not here, the proposed 5-year building program. And basically, what has changed is we've moved the Rockville Elementary Annex up from 22-23 to 21-22. With the opening of Plainview Elementary and the rezoning that's taken place, it does not allow for very many students to be able to be rezoned from Rockville to Barfield. There's just not a large area out there as we go get. So with the anticipated growth and everything that's going on in that area, we were concerned that if we were 2 years or 3 years out, that this annex would not get here in time and we'd be adding portables to what's already there at Rockville. So we are requesting that Rockville Elementary Annex, which is very similar to what we did at Rock Springs Elementary that we were able to tour recently, be the same type program, be completed at Rockville Elementary. And we moved Stewart's Creek Middle 16 classrooms down one. From a dollars standpoint, it's a little bit different. Overall, it's about $6 million. But we felt like that we could wait a year at Stewart's Creek. We're hoping. And we moved Rockville Elementary up. So we still have, for this upcoming year, Rockville Middle, 20 classrooms, Rockville Elementary Annex, and Smyrna Middle Annex renovation. Then the following year, we're looking at Stewart's Creek Middle and the middle school, either out on Matthews, or if we are fortunate enough to find some property out on the 840-96 corridor, somewhere out in that area, to get a middle school over there. And then the following year and following 3 years remain unchanged from what you've seen in the past. And again, for the new board members, we do take this every year. We reevaluate our growth and where we're seeing the students come from, and we revise as we see the actual growth. We can predict based on what subdivisions are approved. What we can't predict is how fast they build them out. So sometimes what we're showing can potentially change.
All right, motion to approve the proposed amendment to the Building Program Fund 189 as presented.
Any questions, any discussion? All right. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. A second?
Second.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
All right. You want to call roll, Ms. Hopkins?
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Next item.
All right, the next item is a budget amendment out of Fund 177, the capital projects for fiscal year 2020, 2021. The requested budget amendment moves the remaining funds of $70,000 from the system-wide backup server project to a multi-complex server and telecommunication upgrade project to fund technology upgrades at several school sites. Motion to approve the proposed amendment to the Education Capital Project Fund as presented.
Have any questions?
Can I ask which schools would be getting some upgrades? I'm assuming it's some of our older schools?
It is, sorry, turn my mic back on. Yes, ma'am, it is. We've started, this originally was going to be for another project. We moved some funds out to do the bathrooms at Oakland, Riverdale, Laverne, Smyrna. So this was some funding that was left to take care of, and what we're looking at is schools like Oakland, Riverdale, some of the older schools that their telephone systems and technology is getting bad and outdated, so we're moving those projects up, and we're going to be replacing those systems at these schools.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Estes. Call the roll, Ms. Hopkins.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. All right, motion passes.
All right, the next one is General Purpose School Fund Amendment, Fund 141. This is the governor and the state legislatures brought up here recently with the budget amendment for a non-recurring 2% for certified employees, but looking at what the board has done all the time, we've always did the same thing with our classified, have we done with our certified. So what we are proposing and recommending to do with this 2% non-recurring, because this is money that we're getting from the state. However, in order to cover everything, including those positions that are outside the BEP, we're requesting to use some of our stimulus money. In order to use the stimulus money, one of the requirements is that they must go above and beyond special duties that they do daily. We know our teachers have done that with balancing act of doing their lessons, also cleaning and things of that nature. We know our educational assistants have assumed the roles of teacher when there has been teacher shortage and shortage of subs. We know that our bus drivers have had to clean their buses after every route. And we know that some of our cafeteria workers have filled in as maintenance workers and things of that nature. So what we're requesting is, in this amendment, this non-recurring, it will not be taken up again next year. We do know that the governor has talked about adding 4% increase into the instructional component. This will address our salary employees for the second half of the year of 2020-21 fiscal year. Our hourly employees will be for pay reporting periods beginning in January 1 of 2021, ending in June 30th of 2021. Our bus contractors increase will be reflected on invoice of payments from the month of January of 2021 through June of 2021. The funding for this 2% temporary non-recurring pay increase will be provided from $1,330,831 in federal ESSER II grant funds, as well as a one-time increase of $1,770,000 in additional state BEP funds approved by the State General Assembly in the special call session in January of 2021. This increase will be calculated for RCS employees on base pay per school board approved salary schedules, excluding supplemental pay. The increase for the bus contractors will be calculated on a monthly seat rate, mileage total for the invoice payments for the months of January of 2021 through June of 2021. To be eligible for this non-recurring pay increase, individuals must be active employees or bus contractors as of February 11th of 2021, County Commission meeting, at the County Commission meeting when the budget amendment is set for consideration. It should be noted that the State General Assembly will be considering a permanent recurring pay increase for school certified positions in their upcoming regular legislation session. Motion to approve the proposed amendment for this one-time, non-recurring pay increase as presented.
All right, much deserved increase there. All right, do we have any questions or discussions? All right, need a motion to approve.
I happily make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
I happily second.
I
Ms.
think
Sharp.
everybody wants to second this one.
Yeah,
All right,
Yeah.
can we call roll?
it's unanimous.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
I happily say yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Number 14.
All right, facilities found on tab 6, Stewart's Creek High School scoreboard request. Principal Clark Harrell has requested permission to replace the existing football scoreboard with a new, larger, and nicer scoreboard. The Rogers Group Incorporation has agreed to pay for the full cost of the scoreboard and installation with an estimated cost at $24,800. The funding source is the donation by Rogers Group Incorporated, and their logo will be located at the base of the scoreboard. This request is at no cost to the school board. Engineering and Construction has reviewed and approves this request. Motion to approve the request for Stewart's Creek High School for a new scoreboard at no cost to the board.
All right. Any questions? All right, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Second?
Second.
Mr. Estes? Ms. Hopkins, can you call roll?
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes.
Mr. Estes?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Bratton?
Yes.
Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes. Motion passes. All right, 5-year building program for information only. We done covered everything there. All right. Number 15, insurance update.
You have in front of you handouts from our last insurance committee meeting on this right here. You go to the first graph. And that covers the financial report for Fund 264, which is the this is the self-insured medical insurance fund. You can see how the revenue over expenses for our employee health insurance fund and retiree insurance fund is doing for the current fiscal year 2020 as compared to 2019. Notice on the second column down, it says 2020 current year revenue versus expense comparison. If you notice, that goes out through December 2020 for the last calendar year. I draw your attention to the total, the revenues less expenses. You see that we finished this calendar year for our insurance fund in the hole by $327,026 of expenses over revenues. Obviously, the increase that was approved by the county commission of the premium increases that picked up in this January, this last month. Obviously, that was what they were talking about back in the springtime, that there was a need for an increase of employer contributions as well as the employee contributions. Starting in January for this current fiscal year we're in, we're seeing an increase of employer contributions of $1,992,362 and employee contributions of $1,755,457 into that. I say that just to point out that that's what was the driver for the rate increases that started this last month. They saw that there was going to be a deficit in this fund, so they went ahead and increased that. We also met in this last week, about looking at increases of employee health premiums going forward for next year as we're going into the budget time. And let me circle back to that as soon as we get done with these other funds, like the workers' comp funds and, of course, the OGI claims, if that's okay with you folks. Turn to the next page. We see the other self-insured fund, the worker injury fund performance. It's showing the claims of paid claims of OJI this year compared to last year. As you can see that it stops, of course, it's going through December. We see our current year, for December, for example, the claims, the amount of the claims in December, the amount was less than the prior year. However, in November, there was some claims, some expensive claims compared to the November of previous. Of course, that is the dollar amount of the claims. We'll see here in a moment the actual injuries. Fund 266 showing claims paid. That's just the numbers instead of the chart that you saw on the last thing, breaking out workers' comp. Going on the next chart with the purple headers, it's just once again showing you different revenue and expenditures of the worker comp and injury fund. And that next page shows that worker comp injury fund, Fund 266, showing how we compare in the 2021 current fiscal year through December as compared to where we stood in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. As you can see, the year-to-date total for 2021 on this fund, year-to-date total of $326,448 compared to $223,053 for this time period for the fiscal year ended December last fiscal year. Moving on to the next page, unless you have any questions, and like I said, I'll circle back on the premium increase. You saw for the worker comp claims and the dollar amounts on those last reports. This right here, this OSHA report, it actually gives the numbers of what happened. For example, in the type of accident in December 2020, you see, and this is not just for the schools, this is also for the county side, the courthouse, sheriff department, ambulance. There was 6 fall, slips, or trip accidents on the job injuries recorded for other county government employees in December 2020. And as you can see, that just details out the types of accidents with on the job injuries of 12 for the month of December. Below that, it shows the accident frequency calendar year to date of 159 for that calendar year just ended December. Moving on, we see the next graph showing just a block chart showing that there was, as we progress through the year, you can see the different amounts of claims as it progresses through the year as compared to the 2019 fiscal year. Next page shows that same injury trend just in dollars instead of incidents. And the next chart shows it's a breakdown between the Board of Education, County General, and Highway Department for those worker comp injuries. This is where it actually is broken out between the component unit of the Board of Education, the County General, and it also reflects the Highway Fund. As you can see, there was 8 injuries, on-the-job injuries last month for the Board of Education, and that gives the detail of what this was, what type of injury it was. The County General, there was 4, Highway, none. It's not on this chart, but I went ahead and pulled it just for the comparison's sake. When you look at that at first blush, it's like, well, the Board of Education had 8 injuries and the County General had 4. But then when you think we have 5,714 employees and County General has 1,262. So that really, when you look at the size of population of the employees, that puts this into perspective.
Yeah, when you look at the percentage, I mean, it does put it in perspective, but sometimes we're not looking at it on the Commission's part. I know they've been talking about presenting this, but when you break this down in percentage, I mean, it's not way out of line.
That's correct. That's what I was wanting. Yes, sir. That shows you when you look at the whole size of the population of the employees that we're talking about.
Mr. Spurlock, also to help with this, just for the new board members, 15 months ago we were asked to set up a program. Mike Walls and myself, we meet monthly with Dan Good with the county insurance department because he couldn't get everywhere. He submits to us each month our school district's injuries. Anything that does not involve, let's say, a teacher-student interaction or something like that, anytime there's a trip, fall, we get that report and immediately maintenance sends someone out. We review that, we look at it, and if it's something that we need to do to repair, replace, fix, and we also meet with the principals while we're there. I think that's been a big help. Because it's gotten us involved and we're able to take care of things that potentially could have been a second accident behind it. So this new program is showing dividends as far as the number of accidents that we're having.
And each principal, once there is an accident that occurs, there is a follow-up and investigation and a plan of action to correct whatever may have occurred. And that is submitted to Mr. Good's office. So making sure we know that.
Does anybody have any questions about the workers' comp fund? Okay. The next thing you see, just for your information purposes, obviously we have a employee health clinic that's through Ascension Medical now, and we have the 3 sites that our employees and their dependents can go to, along with our retirees. Excuse me. This just gives a summary of a visit summary that they've been seeing for the last, like in December, that what type of usage that our county employees, how they were utilizing these clinics and which clinic was seeing the most visits from our sites, along with virtual appointments. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of time in that, but that's for your information. Now circling back to the county health insurance, the county did a kickoff budget meeting the other day. They're looking at the rate increases for the county employee health insurance. We had a 7% this year, which of course the increase took effect in January for our employees. They are saying for budgeting purposes for this fiscal year, we'll be looking at, to begin with our budget, a 10% increase. That would be about $7 million as a county as a whole for the increase. For us, that 10% increase on what we currently have budgeted, that would be about a 6-cent increase on the property tax rate if the county absorbed all that. That is for the 2021 budget, projection. For 2022 early budget projections, they're looking at 17%. So that would be another 9 cents. So increase. So that, once again, those are preliminary budget estimates. They can change, but I wanted the board to be aware of where we're at with that right now with the health insurance. What's driving that, according to the insurance department, is they're seeing, as of up to date, they've seen 1.8 million in COVID-19 related claims for Rutherford County in 2020. And of course, they're also looking at just the cost of some, like the deductible plan, for example. As less people are in that deductible plan, it just, the cost increases because you have less people in that plan. So they're looking, the insurance is the department, risk management is looking at different options, to still continue to have good quality medical care or insurance for our employees, but also to have an employee have an option of perhaps maybe even like a local plus network, which would be a limited PPO, somewhat like what the state health plans offer to the state employees as well as local LEAs that are under the state health plans. They're looking at those type of options. That's all I have.
We talk about something that's not sustainable. This is not sustainable. There's no way we can continue going down this path. And I was really thinking that the federal government was pitching in and helping pay for some of this COVID stuff that's going on in our hospitals. Is that not the case? The insurance companies are having to pick this cost up, or?
With us being self-insured, we're just absorbing these costs, from, whatever. And I see what you're saying, Mr. Young, is you would think that some of this would be an offset, but I would assume that, and once again, I'm not in the healthcare industry, but I would assume that obviously the hospitals are incurring a great additional amount of cost too with COVID, with all the additional PPE and the staffing issues that they're utilizing state or those federal funds for. But this is just from projections, the actuary projections of what we're going to get claim-wise from not just COVID-19, but just increased medical costs. So, like I said, that's not set in stone. That's one thing that risk management, they clause that these are preliminary numbers. But I agree with you that it's difficult to balance a budget with those type of increases.
Any other board members have any questions, discussion? Thank you, sir. Number 16.
All right, 16, Director's update. Just update a little bit about COVID here in the county as of today. 1,562 active cases. That would put our spread rate at 0.49%. So we're in the I think, close to green. Are we in the green, James? We're in the green. Average number of new cases over the last 7 days was 135. Average positive rate over the last 7 days is 12.2%. Also would like to add that we have, since the last board meeting we had, and there was a discussion about, overcrowdedness at Rockville High School and the Christiana Middle School, we will be bringing forth sometime preliminary rezoning of 8th graders that are at Christiana Middle to try to alleviate some overcrowdedness at Rockville High School in the future, and it will be a tiered approach. 1 year after another year on 8th grade. We will not be rezoning anyone out of Rockville High School, but we will be rezoning 8th grade students, requesting to rezone 8th grade students in certain locations back to Riverdale. We anticipate bringing this for you to look at and taking it back up next fall. It will not affect any rising 9th graders at Christiana Middle this year. It may affect some in the year, the calendar year of 2022, 2023.
Any questions? Number 17, TLN. Ms. Bratton?
Yes, I received a text from Don White today, and the text says, right now we are on a recess for the organization session, and we'll go back on Monday for the rest of the session. Other than the bills on education that were passed in special session, nothing has been heard in the Education Committee.
Any other discussion? All right, number 18, Federal Relations. Ms. Johnson? Have nothing to report. All right. All right, number 19, General Discussion.
I have two things that I'd like to bring up. And one is I just would like to read a statement regarding the tour that we made of the State Farm Building. Dear fellow board members, I want to express how excited I was and optimistic I am regarding our tour of the State Farm Building last week. There was a news article posted on WGNS in which Mr. Lee confirmed that he had taken a visit to see the building. Unfortunately, the article seemed to convey that it was not a viable location given the close proximity of other schools nearby, such as Oakland and Siegel. I believe that Mr. Lee did not convey that, but somehow somebody in the media took it upon themselves to convey that. For the record, I believe that the county should pursue this property and convert it into a brand new magnet school for 5 simple reasons. 1, converting the State Farm Building into a new magnet school would allow us to expand our magnet school capacity and offerings to our community. And secondly, I think this would allow us to convert the existing Central Magnet back to a Central Middle School, which would not only help the downtown community, but it was also, thirdly, relieve overcrowding and the use of portables at the middle schools that currently cut up the downtown area, such as Oakland Middle, Central, Siegel Middle, Winthrop Buchanan Middle, Blackman Middle, Rockvale, and Christiana. Each of these school zonings touches the downtown community and area, and it is byproduct of when Central was converted to a magnet school. And it doesn't seem fair that we're sending kids and parents all over the county. Fourth, I believe this could be cost effective. We spent over $70 million for Rockville High School, and I believe the county could acquire the State Farm property and convert it for less than the cost of building a school from the ground up. And lastly, there is so much property there, it would give us additional options for not only a larger magnet school, but also Transition Academy, which is for our special needs students, and it's currently run out of room over there at MTSU. Optional, there is also a 6th reason, and it's related to the only school that does not have a middle school clustered within its boundaries, and that's Riverdale High School. RHS does not have a middle school like Oakland and Siegel and Blackman. And putting a middle school downtown would also help the proud legacy school survive for many years to come. I just want to formally go on record and make it known why I believe our county leadership and we as a board should pursue this. Only if the price is right. There are a lot of moving parts to this. I was disappointed in the way the article on WGNS portrayed this. I also believe that Mr. Lee did not convey this, but somehow somebody in the media took it upon themselves to paint a different narrative. I felt it was important to express to you why I think this is something we should encourage our county mayor and commission to pursue this property if the price is right. And my thoughts are it should be only for a school, Transition Academy, and for moving Central Magnet, because I believe they need room to grow as well. And I just wanted to go on record and say that I was very excited about it. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but I was hoping that that's something that we could pursue in the next couple of years, perhaps. Second thing I wanted to talk about is a little bit more personal. I've been very worried about our children over these last couple of months and their mental health. And I've heard of stories of children and they're just not doing well. And so I called the Jason Foundation on Monday and I spoke with them. And they're willing to come to us end of March, 1st of April time period and put on a forum, mental health forum, like similar to a town hall If we can't do it in person, they can do it virtual, and they can talk to our parents and our families and help them see the signs. As an educator at Riverdale High School, I had to take a course in the Jason Foundation. It was a very, very good course. And I feel like that they could really relate to our parents and help them see the signs, because there's so many children that are suffering from anxiety and depression, and even children that have never had those episodes before are suffering. So I just wanted to let you all know they're willing to come, and I will be facilitating that and setting that up for us if that's something that you all, and I strongly encourage us to go ahead and do that. And I've spoken with the director about it, and I think it would be a really good thing for us to do in the coming months.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Maxwell, can you please share with us what the Jason Foundation is for those of us who don't know?
Jason Foundation is out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I first heard about it years ago when the University of Tennessee, Coach Fulmer became their ambassador, basically. And it's basically, it touches teen suicide. And what the signs to spot for those children that are feeling hopeless and feeling like there's no sense in living anymore. And this gentleman lost his son, Jason, to suicide, and never saw it coming. And maybe the signs were there, but he didn't see them. And so he's made it his mission in life to educate schools, church groups, anybody that's willing to listen about the signs of depression. And I unfortunately see a lot of that going on in the world that we're living in right now. And so they are experts in this, and I just feel like that would be a very good thing for our families here.
We're still required, are we not? Paige, we're required to take that annually, every educator.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and whatever you, if you need help with that, I'd love to.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you.
Especially in this season.
Any other discussion?
Just to remind everyone, on the 18th, there's our special rezoning meeting, 6 o'clock here. If you need those maps back, if you need anything sent out, if you have any questions about anything, just reach us, and Mr. Morgan will be more than happy to go over everything with you.
Mr. Young?
Yes, ma'am.
Are we in general discussion? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, if I could have a minute, please. I spoke with Mr. Spurlock on Friday about some conversations that I've had with Representative Reagan out of Oak Ridge and Representative Sapinski out of, I believe he's Maury County, and of course, Representative Sparks. And they are telling me that they are starting a new campaign in Tennessee for Tennessee to be #1 in education. There's some other things that they're going to put in the legislation about supplemental materials, also some of our books. We're not going to have book waivers after 2023. So it looks like we've got some things going with our legislator now, and I'm just going to ask the rest of the board members to keep the full court press on.
Well, thank you. Yes, I agree. You have a lot of challenges coming up, so we need everybody pulling in the same direction. All right, any other discussion? All right, nothing else. Meeting is adjourned.